And we are live. I want to thank everyone for joining us. This is Epic Sketch Time. Epic Sketch Time is an online drawing group. We've been around for 6 or 7 years. I've lost track. Long before the pandemic, we were getting together and convincing with each other over drawing tips, our current projects, what we're doing, and pop culture. With me, in order of appearance, I'll be introducing those who are coming in. First, I'll introduce myself. Again, my name is Mark Monlux. I live in Tacoma, Washington. I'm a freelance illustrator, and today I'm going to be prepping some materials to sell at an event in Tacoma this coming Friday and Saturday. Oh, pardon me, Saturday and Sunday, called Arts at the Armory. Katie, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Katie C. I live in Bonnie Lake, Washington. I'm an artist and a writer. I can be found on Instagram at Evil Girlfriend Media. And I will be working on a fan art piece today with a fusion of James Bond, They Live, and cats.
Bill, your turn.
I am Bill Morse. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator living in Seattle, Washington. And today I am working on a Sunday strip from the Christmas storyline on my webcomic Rhapsodies.
And people can find your comic Rhapsodies at, what's the URL link?
Rhapsodies.wpmorse.com.
So the arts on at the Armory is something that the city did last year, and I didn't have a table at it, and I went down and I checked it out because I thought, I wonder if I should table at this thing. And I looked around and I loved the demographic. The demographic was basically people 40 and older for the most part, people who were patrons of the art scene in Tacoma, which speaks to me of, disposable income and willingness to buy people gifts for Christmas. So I thought this is the perfect time. I definitely should do this next year. It's a 10 by 10 space, and I need to provide my own tables and chairs and whatnot. Some people will be bringing in and setting up their tents, because that's how they support their display. They set up the tent frame and they hang everything down. I'll just be going with a 6-foot table and a little half table and my banner structure behind me. In preparations, I'm got some prints out to the printer. I ran out of some prints last time. And my enamel pins, this whole new series is going to be available. So I'm got these wonderful little clear bags. I'm putting them in the clear bags, and I'm really looking forward to this show. It doesn't cost the artist anything to be in this show, and attendance is free. However, it is a curated show, meaning you have to apply with the city and show them what you're going to be selling. And since it's going to be a family-oriented event, that's part of the reasons they do the curation. And I think that'll be my last show of the year.
Probably.
Probably. I mean, it's not costing me anything. Now, when is Emerald City? Emerald City is, are they in January or February now?
I had not heard.
Because I know that
it came up in conversation recently, but
I have a friend who used to do Artist Alley, and then he went down into the maker section. And when you go down into the maker sections, he thinks that they don't like you to go back to Artist Alley, because he was finding that he was doing just as well, or had done just as well in Artist Alley as he did in Maker Section. And of course, it's cheaper to be in Artist Alley. However, they did not accept this application this year. Of course, Emerald City is a huge convention, and there have been times when I've applied that I have not got in, but I don't think I applied this year. I haven't been, of course, I didn't apply for the last few years.
Nobody did, but for the last few years.
Yes. Well, they did do something last year, and it was in December. But it was still far too fresh, close to Katie, I love the background that you have going on that. It looks almost like wood paneling to me.
Sorry, I had it on mute. Yeah, yep, that's kind of what I'm doing. And
Yeah, I
then,
mean-
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, for a second, it almost looked like a collage.
Yeah, it's I kind of try to do, I need to lighten it up a little bit more and give it a little more dimension, but I wanted to kind of outline him and then the cat just so I know where my parameters are. And then I realized I should probably do the message in the background. And then I messed that up. So I'm having to fix it. And so I was kind of going to do like a black look. And then I don't really like it. I want it to be, I think I'm going to do like a gray, almost like before it's over with, it's going to look kind of like a TV with a static on it. But I still want to put, this is going to say obey, but then it's going to say like buy, and they'll say like cat food, buy cat food, and then I'll have obey. And then it'll have the cat here. And then he looks a little oblivious, but that's kind of what I want. I'm going to have to, like when I'm putting the musculature, I'm going to make sure I try to put it upward so it looks like he's smiling. Like he's just a happy, oblivious cat owner, but also, looks like the guy from James Bond. So we'll see how it goes. You know how it is with me, even when it's interesting if someone were actually watching us, the evolution of even when I try to plan, it doesn't go the way, it doesn't always go as planned, but I am planning more. And it makes it a lot easier to, all these happy accidents I have, it makes it easier to overcome them, I guess. That's the best way to
Here we go. These are the right ones. Locating all of my various cards, my various backer cards.
I saw the post about the artist at the Armory. I'm excited to hear how that goes for you.
I'm really curious about how, well, first of all, it's going to go great simply because it's not costing me anything but my time. So,
right. Well, and like you were saying, it seems like people are going to something like that. It's not just to see the celebrities or this or that. These are people who want to see artists because it's called Artists at the Armory.
yeah. And some of them are artists that have been around for a while, and some of them are new people. There's going to be a lot of familiar faces, and I'm going to be seeing some of my friends there for sure. Here we go. when I got these cards from, I get my cards from Moo, and they do one on each, a different scene on each card, but they're collated. They're not all individual. It's sort of like this island Earth, I have to peel through the stack and put all the ones into a different stacks. I can't just pull out a chunk of them and say, okay, this is this island Earth chunk. No. So I have to spend my time and separate out all these cards. So much fun, he says sarcastically. So even if I could do a screen share, my screen share would be very boring. It's just me separating out a very monotonous deck of 6 cards. I saw a movie I wish I'd seen in the theater in 3D
Yeah.
this week. Yeah, it was what's it called? Lupa? The Pixar one.
Luca.
Luca.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Did you see it in 3D, Bill?
No.
Did you see it in the theater?
I saw it on DVD if we're talking about the same one.
Yes, from Pixar with the kind
Sea
of has,
Monsters.
yeah, the sea monsters.
Okay. Yeah, no, I very much liked it. I mean, my only nitpick about it, and this may sound silly, but with the style they were using, the water looked too realistic.
I thought that the water was perfect.
Oh, that was the problem. It was with the style they were using for everything else, it almost imagined that they should have been using crumpled cellophane like they use in Rankin Bass movies, you know?
Oh no, but I disagree strongly with your assessment.
Uh-huh.
I think it was very much along the lines of Tintin.
Yeah.
And well, not the Tintin 3D animated movie, which was very interesting. I'm talking about the oh, I'm kind of curious. Am I the only one who's seen Tintin?
I've seen it.
I have.
Indeed very interesting.
Wasn't it a TV show too?
Yeah, there was one on I know there was a fairly high-end adaptation of it that they had on HBO in the 90s. I don't know if there was any other. I'm aware of a live action one from way back. I only know about it because I stumbled over a photo novel of it long ago. I don't know if that was a show, movie, or just the photo novel.
Bill, I know you know the guy that I'm thinking of. He did a photo novel that was basically the Odyssey in space. And he was a local artist.
Oh, right. Yes. Kurt.
Yeah, Kurt.
Yeah.
I thought that was an absolutely great idea.
Yeah, I haven't seen him for a while. He stopped going to Cartoonist Northwest meetings.
Well, I believe he moved out of state for a while.
Oh, I did not know that. Because allegedly he said that he didn't like the lighting at Artists and Craftsmen.
But that was before the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yes.
When I think about how good we had things before the pandemic,
Oh, yeah.
what we all took for granted.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I do physical therapy now. And I'm in a group physical therapy class. Like I do aquatic therapy and um it's just funny because um I've realized that even though it's a real pain to get out of my house and drive and go to aquatic therapy, it's really good for me to get out of my house and go do something where there are other people that aren't even people I really know that well,
Mhm.
just to keep up my social skills.
Oh, definitely.
Bill, you went somewhere this weekend, didn't you?
No.
Oh,
I
I
unless
mean, you usually go to the zoo, or was it just too rainy to get outside this week, or was it?
well, I did a sort of jaunt around downtown where I finally went and shopped at the Big John's new location, which I had not been to, and had not been to Big John's since before COVID. So it was really nice to see this new location and stock up on my supplies.
Now, what is Big John's?
Big John's is one of Seattle's best kept secrets. It's essentially a Mediterranean food place, and it is
Hmm.
the place to go for bulk foods, a lot of gourmet Mediterranean delicacies, and it has one of the best cheese counters in the city.
Wow. Okay.
The best place out for a cheese counter in Tacoma that I know of is the Metropolitan Market up on Proctor.
Hmm.
And currently have too much cheese in my fridge because I'm the only one in my family that, or only one in the house that eats cheese. And so, and I'm also kind of dieting, which kind of keeps me away from the cheese. So,
Yeah, I had a few moments of weakness with my diet where I did take advantage of some blues being on sale at QFC, but considering I seem to be back on a plateau, I probably should stop doing that. Since much as I love blue cheese, as far as the diet is concerned, it's not that different from eating butter.
well,
Yeah.
I do like having gorgonzola on my salad. I allow myself 1/3 of a cup of cheese on my salad, and I normally get it at Costco, but Costco has changed what they're stocking and have put in a lot of specialty items for the holidays, like individual cups of mousse and what have you. And there's only so much space they have in the refrigerator area, and the gorgonzola is nowhere to be found. So I had to do, oh my God, I had to go back to buying feta, you know,
Uh,
which is
Moose as in moose as in the dessert or the deer.
um, as in the dessert.
Okay.
They have these little glasses and they have multi layers of,
Hmm.
dark chocolate, medium chocolate, and white chocolate mousse. And then once you're done eating them, they have all these little glasses that you probably need to give to Goodwill.
I mean, I'm sorry. Normally it's a stupid question, but at the same time, Costco can have some pretty gourmet items in their butcher section.
That is true.
Yes, we get a lot of buffalo from Costco. That's one of our supplies. Though the local Fred Meyer, which is basically a Kroger outfit. I don't know what part of the country other people are in, but Kroger here is known as Fred Meyer's.
Among other things, it's also known as QFC.
Oh, QFC is more expensive than Fred Meyer's.
Yeah, but it's still a Kroger operation.
QFC is like the first stage of yuppie Kroger.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have I don't think Safeway wasn't bought out by Kroger. No, Safeway was bought out by Thriftway.
I did not hear that. That
And
might explain by that,
well-
that may explain why a lot of the stores have been closing lately.
maybe I should say, I believe that they were, if I heard my various rumors correctly, on the interwebs and elsewhere. But yes, Costco has a nice selection of meats, to be sure.
Hmm.
And in the summertime, they expand out those selections for those people who like to grill and what have you. And I'm pretty sure that they've kept up with the brisket through the holidays, but they're definitely going to be making space for all the turkey. Last year, my wife and I ended up buying a small turkey because they actually had a really tiny one.
Nice.
I just finished eating it. Took the last part of it and froze it, and I figured, should probably, it's been a year, I should probably take it out and finish it off. And it was quite nice. I'm kind of curious to know what my wife is going to be making us for our Christmas dinner. We're going to be going over and having Christmas with my family.
Nice.
Well, so I think. My wife got her nice and quiet Thanksgiving. Now, I know that you're going to have a nice, quiet Christmas. Bill, you usually go over to a friend's house.
If I
I
can.
forget if that's on Boxing Day or on.
It depends, and that considering at least one of those friends has just moved back into the city, it's a more viable option now. Because normally Christmas can be utter torture for me because my entire family's on the East Coast. And the person who normally fills the sort of family dinners niche for me, like for Thanksgiving and a few other things, isn't much help for Christmas because she's Jewish.
So, Katie, do you and Tim have any plans for Christmas? Or do you have any? I know you guys aren't doing any more shows.
Yeah, we will probably have Tim's family over or go to his mom's house, and then we just kind of do that with his family, and then we open presents with his kids, and then usually he and I just we actually spend the actual day by ourselves. It's kind of nice, very quiet. And it'll just be me and him. We usually will watch like some Christmas movies or something.
Nice. I generally go through what I regard as the ritualistic checklist, which includes things like listening to music on King FM, cooking the dinner, walking.
You don't go and do the traditional Christmas movie?
I used to. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any place that shows it, but I used to read Night Before Christmas. The big ritual of our family was that PBS production of Great Performances production of The Nutcracker with Berezhnikov, but I haven't seen that anywhere, and I've looked.
Our family would, usually on Christmas Eve or maybe the day before Christmas Eve, when people are all home, we'd all go out and watch a movie together.
Mm-hmm.
Not particularly a Christmas movie, but just anything that happened to be around. But I haven't gone to see a movie with my family on during the holidays for a very long time.
Yeah, one thing that has me very homesick is back home in Providence, Rhode Island. There's this very good repertory theater called Trinity Rep, and they do a production of Christmas Carol every year, which was always very good because me and my mother and I always ushered there to get to see anything free.
My wife and I typically will, on Christmas Day, go to my brother's house, one of them. This time it's my brother Cliff's house. And I only have two brothers whose houses are big enough to handle the onslaught of the various relatives. So tough luck. You have a big house, you get stuck with everybody.
Yes, reading between the lines, your description, I can only imagine the Monlux invasion.
We had Thanksgiving once at my house, and it was such a tight fit that no one ever suggested it again. And my wife was very grateful for that.
Yes,
And then we open up our own gifts on Boxing Day. We usually on Thanksgiving, we do a drawing to see who gets who for gifts. And there's a lot of math involved with that because you can't draw your spouse because you're already getting your spouse a gift, and you can't draw your kids because you're already getting your kids gifts. So the small nuclear families, you have to figure out, okay, they can only pull from the general pool, not from their own pool. And then on top of that, you have to factor in, okay, you don't want to have the same person you got last year getting the same gift this year. So the computations are never ending. And my mom used to do it, but I've taken over the last couple of years of doing that. I think my sister did it a couple of years back. I was in the process of taking all these little guys out of bags. Now I have about 10 of them set out now. And now I'm taking all the backings off the backs. And now I got my cards. I'm going to start mounting them on the cards. Just line up their little cute faces and push them through. The studs back on. That is a wonderful red you have there, Katie.
Yeah, it's called fluorescent orange, but it does have a lot of red in it, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna have to put something behind it though, just to make it pop a little more so you can
Oh
see
no,
it.
I would work on the figure and deal with the background later. Once you
Oh,
have
you
the
think so?
Yeah, I say work on the figure. Once you have the figure down, you can adjust the background and make it less
Okay.
busy, make it more busy, change the color to suit. Because who knows, you might get 90% of the way in and say, you know, I don't care. I'm making this guy's suit yellow. Yeah. Or you might say, you know, if I did some warm shadows on this, that's what I really want to do. So I want to put on some warm shadows rather than some cool shadows. And then that'll make a big effect on what you do for their background. So yeah, I say wait until you get your main figure done.
Yeah, yeah, because I think I'm gonna actually potentially put like almost make it look like a I was thinking about doing like a gold frame, but his eyes are gold. So I might do just like a really nice blue black frame around it, like a picture frame. Um, but that's also something where it doesn't have to be done right now. Yeah, it's always tricky with these guys because when I'm sketching them out, they always look like Dios de los Muertos. And then it's like I have to go back in and work it out a little bit. Uh, yeah, I was looking at the musculature of a human face, but then I also realized that even like they live faces don't follow traditional musculature of a human face anyway.
No, they don't.
So I can kind of make it up as I go to whatever I think will look best. Yeah. The only thing that, I think sucks when you're doing something like this and you actually start dissecting the other person's art or style, things that when you're a kid or whatever, or you're first watching or you watch it, you don't always see. But then when you try to dissect it so that you can not necessarily replicate it, but create it in your own style, you're like, well, oh, okay, that doesn't make sense. Or more often, it's like, oh, I didn't translate that slide of your eye, in the way that they manipulated it. You didn't notice these things when from when you saw it before as a kid or watched it in a movie,
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Yeah, you are. Like, one of the things that always bugged me about the They Live aliens, but for the most part, he focused on them with straight on shots because he really
Yes.
wanted to get the whole skull effect in there. And part of the
Yes.
skull effect was having like the black space for the nose look, and the black would, we would read it naturally as sunken. But if you see these guys in profile, they've actually got a nose and it's black.
Yes.
And I realized, okay, they were just doing this to make it on makeups to make it look like an easy makeup thing to do. Because if they had to actually make that nose shrunken on everybody they were having, that would have just been really tough to do. Better fix, do some photography and just have everything shot straight on.
Yep. Yep. That's a good solution when you're trying to.
And I came up against that problem when I was considering doing some of them for some enamel pins. And I thought, oh, I should do this different. I should do like a 3/4 shot rather than a straight on shot, because the straight on shot was looking too much like a mug shot and wasn't quite having the effect I wanted. But the moment I did that and started looking at the stills, I went, wait a second, these guys have noses and they're just black?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they,
So
they hid that really well.
that's what I did with the one, the other one, the Chihuahua one. He actually, I made him have a nose and it's got hints of purple and black. It's a cross between black and purple, because I wanted to stay true to the actual character, because that was one of the things I noticed too. I was like, what? These guys actually have this? And I'm like, okay.
What I love is I love looking at illustrations
Yeah.
of people who are doing these creatures, and they're just going for their own version where the thing doesn't have a nose. They like the whole capture of the sunken nasal pit.
Yeah, I would imagine that revealing that they had noses was partially unintentional, and they're trying to take advantage of the graininess of the glasses vision.
And even when they did the reveal of the aliens at the end in full color, most of the shots were straight on.
Yeah.
And I still love the way that movie ended. What's wrong, babe? Sorry. Jeez.
Oh, goodness.
I am bummed out that Christy Alley died
Yeah.
on
I saw
Monday.
Tim and I were talking about that. She, I guess she had cancer.
Yeah, they apparently they discovered it very late.
Yeah.
What a bummer. I'm trying to think if Cheers was the first time I saw her or not.
You probably first thing I ever saw her in was Savik in Wrath of Khan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you weren't watching the Cheers TV show at all?
I was watching the Cheers thing, but I know I'm quite sure that was before Cheers.
Okay, now I'm curious. I'm going to have to look because I thought that came after Cheers. Let's look this up on Internet Movie Database. I'm sure Kirstie Alley's page has been getting a lot of hits today. Just type that in. Kirstie. Yep, there you go. So Wrath of Khan came out in 1982. Why? Yeah. Bill, you are correct.
Oh, good.
Cheers. Her first appearance on Cheers was or rather, her run on Cheers went from 1987 through 1993. She did one episode on Wings. Let's see, I'm looking here to see. Oh, she was on one episode of The Love Boat in 1982.
Wasn't everybody.
Oh, she was on an episode of Quark in an uncredited role. Do either of you guys know about this show called Quark?
Yes, it was. I found it. The few episodes I saw were very amusing. They played it on Sci-Fi for a while.
I do not know about this.
It was
it was a Star Trek parody.
Oh, gotcha.
But the guy who it was basically the crew of an interstellar dump truck. His first officer was a plant. He had a very large pet amoeba. Let's see, who else was on that crew?
The
There's a
two
small-
clones who were always arguing about which one was the original, and the Gene who had a male and female personality that kept going back and forth between borderline thug and effeminate.
That sounds about right. And he had grand dreams, and what he really was just, a dump truck driver.
Mhm.
But it was a comedy. And some people say it was overrated, and some people say it was underrated. I have a friend of mine that was trying to get permission. He wanted to reboot Quark as a comic strip. And he had written several, not a comic strip, but it was a comic book. And he had written a couple comics just to that effect. But he could never find the right people to contact that would give him permission. And I'm saying, it's less about permission. It's more about license. If you point money at somebody, someone's going to say, yeah, you can do this. But I think a lot of it was just comic book shop talk. I loved how in The Big Bang, they really spent a lot of time at the comic book shop and doing a lot of comic book shop talk.
Mhm.
I thought that was hilarious. We are such a quiet group today.
I know. I was just thinking that. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, in my thoughts. I also got my flu shot on Saturday, and it's
How's your arm feeling?
I think this may be my last year with the flu shot, just because every year I'm developing a bigger and more radiating rash reaction to
Ooh,
the shot.
Not nice.
Yeah. And so I just keep getting, like, I was fine on Sunday, and then Monday I had chills, headaches, body aches, headaches. And then today it's just like an on and off, like really bad headache that just kind of like, how sometimes you get those headaches where it's not even the pain, it's
Just the pressure.
yeah, like it's making it overwhelming to just do more than one thing at a time. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that right now. I'm just kind of like, oh, I don't feel too hot. So, but I definitely did not want to miss this week. I had missed too many weeks. And I think I missed 2 weeks in a row, didn't I? I can't even remember, but I
I know
definitely
you
did.
missed last week, but I don't know if you missed the week before that. Did you, Bill?
You were here last week.
Yeah, I think I had like 2 weeks in a row where I wasn't here or something. I can't remember, but I don't have that many habits in this life, but that definitely this has
This is
become
one
of
of
my
your
habits.
habits.
Yeah. Uh, um, I'm also a person who doesn't like to join things or overly commit myself. Even though I had a publishing company for a couple of years. But so for me to be committed to this for what we've been doing this since I came on in sometime in 2020.
Yeah,
So it's for me to commit something for 2 years is pretty crazy. That's
I think
I've
Bill
never
and I have been the longest members of this group. For a long time, it was me and Stowe, and then it was Bill joined us quickly after that. And then let's see, Ian was a regular, then Kevin was a regular. We had some folks on the East Coast that were regulars, but once the pandemic hit, their time schedules changed.
oh
And because they weren't punching the clock, they were working from home rather than working someplace else and then coming home and then being able to easily differentiate between work and non-work hours.
yeah. I find that a lot with working from home. I really have to take care to tell myself it's okay to walk away from work and do other things.
Now, Bill, you've got several tricks because you live in a studio apartment. So I know that you subdivide and like your bedroom is strictly off limits to work.
Yeah. And I mean, it's actually a one bedroom, but for example, I've using these bookshelves as dividers to turn the office into a separate room from the living room.
Oh, that's cool. Kind of reminds me of I know Elizabeth Giusetti, she has in their apartment, her office is a closet because they live in a one bedroom. So I guess they have like a walk-in closet that she turned into her office.
I'm very fortunate. This room that I'm in right now, the only I have one window that looks right off to the front porch so I can see a mailman coming. I have another window that goes off to the side where people can park so I can see them pulling in. And then I have a French door over here, and it leads to the living room. This room is completely, it immediately said, as soon as we checked out the house, that, oh, yeah, this is where the office is going to be. And when I moved in, one of the first things I did was I called up one of my friends and I had him I had him do this for me. He crawled underneath the house and ran a second electrical line to the office. So
cool.
I've got more juice in here than we have in the kitchen. But I knew that I'd be pulling a lot of power in the future with a lot of different devices.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely I'm very lucky. If you ever get to come out to my house, you probably would be like, this is you're ridiculous. I actually have an area that is just specifically for art. I have an area for writing, and then I have my office for my work.
I think that's great.
Yeah, it was really important for me because when we lived in our old house, it was a lot smaller than this, and I had turned our family room into basically because Tim used to paint a lot more, and we basically turned our family room into an art room, but then that was the room everyone else liked to also be in, so people would come in there, and then was a big folding table, and it had all the paints, it had all the canvases, everything. And then it was like right in front of the couch. And then like the dogs couldn't even run around. Um, yeah. So when we moved here, it was like, wow, we have so much space. It's crazy. I think the only person that is he told, he has a good space, is that it would be really nice if Tim had an actual office. He's in a corner, like a cubby hole, but then everybody goes past where he's writing. And then to either go to the laundry room or just to go downstairs. So he's constantly hearing people and seeing people. And yeah, so he's the only one that he really doesn't have his own space. He's kind of got he's in a communal area where everyone can just get up in his business and
Well, I
interrupt him.
had no idea that. Well, oh yeah, is that because his kids live with you, or what's the situation?
Yeah. His kids live with us. So his son lives upstairs with us. And then we actually bought a home that has a mother-in-law suite. So his daughter lives in her own complete area of the house. I know, man, it makes it sound like this is a mansion. It is not, but we're really lucky that it's called a multi-generational home.
Yes.
Yes. And so so she doesn't even have to come in our front door. She has her own private entrance into our house and everything. She has her own kitchen, but poor Tim, he's kind of just, but he seems really happy. He's got it all set up the way he wants. But but since I work for someone else out in our home, we have a private area for that because, it needs to be treated like a business office. Even though my dogs still end up on conference calls sometimes. Since they bark at everything.
So I need to make a board that I'm going to make a piece of paper that's got some sort of design on the background. I haven't quite figured it out yet, where all these pins can be. I'll laminate that, then I'm going to mount these pins on the laminate, and just so that I can pull it up and set it up. And I'm debating whether or not I should include the killer clowns with it, because I don't want people to, when I say you get the full set, to say, oh, well, there's only 7 pins here. Why don't I get the clown? I'm kind of going, okay, so I put the clown on a separate thing. At least that's what I'm leaning towards. I got all of my this I'm an Earth pins from the first bag of 50 taken care of.
Nice.
Let's see, what's this next bag? Ah. So I'm trying to think of what I should do for my my rate for having a full set. Because there are 7 of them, and individually, I sell them at $15 each.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if people want the full set, I think I'm trying to think of what's a nice inducement. If I sold at full price, that would be come on, $95? No, more than that. Why my brain's not working at this time of the day. Let me get out my
I know.
calculator.
I think it's also that time of year where we're all bears and we want to hibernate.
Mhm.
And it's practically dark outside right now. It is dark outside right now. And it's only
It's hard-
5:30.
hard to-
So it's $105 at full price. So if I said you get the full set for how much would I get per if I said 90? That's about $12.85 per pin. If I said, because whatever I decide upon, that's pretty much going to become the rate. I'm trying to decide, should I say 90 or 85? And the businessman in me is saying 90. But the salesman in me is saying, say 85. And I'm thinking, if they can afford 85, they can afford 90.
You're definitely a much better business person than I am. I'm getting better.
Well, can you believe it, folks? You have watched us quietly do our individual tasks for an hour. I want to thank everyone for joining us for yet another tantalizing, ever exciting, epic sketch time. Let's see, next week I'm going to take a quick look at the calendar, make sure that we don't have anything competing. Next week will be the 13th.
Mhm.
Awesome. I will see you guys next week on the 13th.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye all.